Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for DraftKings and FanDuel. I also have a price fix video out right after this, so let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it for the like button, subscribe. If you haven't already, you can check out all the socials down below if you want to join us. The website, Twitter, you can use my code PROCESS on price picks if you want to get signed up there. And let's get started. This first game of the second round series between these two teams, or four teams. It should be a fun one. Starting off with the point guard picks, we have Ja Morant, $9,600. The Grizzlies were able to get the job done against the Timberwolves last game, even with the bad shooting performance from Ja Morant. 4 of 14, the Wolves blew their third 10-plus point lead in the fourth quarter. At home, they weren't able to close it out. So, shout out to the Grizzlies for really persisting, and it wasn't an easy series for them, but they were the better team when it counted the most in clutch time in the fourth quarter. I don't mind going down to Steph Curry here. He's $700 cheaper. He's no longer on a minutes limit. We saw them start the death lineup last game. Curry's free throw shooting has been kind of bad recently. Normally, you expect him to be like over 90%, which he has been for the season. But he's 5 of 7, 10 of 14, 6 of 8. He's actually missing some free throws. Shows that he is human. But now that he's back in the starting lineup, getting those minutes secure over like 35, 36, 37, taking a lot of threes, making a lot of threes as usual. And he's been aggressive as well, taking 20 plus shots the last couple of games. 89 is one of the cheaper price tags you'll see for a guy like Steph Curry in the playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and put him in. I like Curry more than Jrue Holiday a little bit. This one should be more of a you have two good defensive teams here, even without Chris Middleton. The Celtics are good defensively. We saw them limit Durant throughout the series. Kyrie had one solid game, maybe one and a half. But Holiday here, he's going to be locked in on possibly Tatum. We'll see. It's not the easiest matchup for him in terms of size, but Holiday's a lockdown defender. They could have him on Jaylen Brown instead. Overall, 82 for him looks solid, but I'd rather get up to Steph Curry. And now that Poole is still starting, but he's starting with the ball in his hands a lot different than starting with Curry having the ball in his hands and Draymond having the ball in his hands. So he still gives you some upside for tournaments, but he's not going to take as many shots as he was when Curry was limited in the first couple of games in the series. I like Marcus Smart more than Jordan Poole. $600 cheaper, going to play heavy minutes, locked in for defensive purposes, also handles the ball, gets assists, makes some smart plays, and hasn't been shooting terribly, and he's actually kind of been looking for a shot at times when they are doubling. If they decide to double Tatum or double Brown at times, could leave Marcus Smart open from three. And then you're getting a huge drop off to a lot of these guys. You have two guys that are cheaper than Smart that will get decent run, and that is Tyus Jones and Derek White. Could see some minutes for Pritchard as well. A handful of minutes, but nothing that you can kind of feel confident with. But Tyus Jones should be looking at over 20, maybe over 25 if he continues to play like he did last game and throughout that series. And then you have Derek White, 39. Brought him over from San Antonio. Kind of a bench guy. Will handle the ball when there's no Marcus Smart. They can start Smart, or they can play minutes with him alongside Marcus Smart. Overall, the price tag is good enough to where you can consider, and it's a new series, so it's always the best chance to take advantage of being a little bit more risky with the guys that didn't play much in the first round of the series. But because these coaches are always changing things up, it could be a spot where instead of giving Grant Williams 30 minutes, they decide to give those minutes to Derek White instead against a team like Milwaukee that shoots a lot of threes, gives up a lot of threes, and they play more of a guard lineup with. They can have lineups with Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Grayson Allen, Connaughton all out there together. Over at shooting guard, I like the price tag on Jaylen Brown. He's 79. He's going to be playing big minutes right alongside of Jason Tatum, and it's been 4 straight games where he's made exactly 9 field goals. Does contribute with the rebounding, the assists, been getting you steals as well. So don't mind getting to Jaylen Brown there. Looking a little bit cheaper, I like getting to Desmond Bane, $6,900. You can make a case for Klay Thompson at 71. But I also do like Dillon Brooks a lot at 58. And then in the value range, you have Wesley Matthews, 35, who had a good game last time out, had 4 steals, which helped him. But I still like Connaughton, who put up 20 points off the bench, had a good shooting game, finally, especially from distance, 6 of 9. Boston's a team where he's going to be not going to get a ton of easy looks. For a lot of the Holidays might not get the easiest looks if you're defended by Marcus Smart. Some of these other guys are going to have to step up. At this price tag, I always will take shots on Connaughton. You think he still would have looked like a good play if Middleton was healthy, and with Middleton out for the series, Connaughton should be looking at least 20 minutes a game, if not more than that. Moving over to small forward, Jason Tatum's price tag is super enticing, $9,400. He's at home, was dominant throughout that series against Brooklyn, dropping over 20 in every game except for one, and over 29 in every game except for that one where he put up 19 and shot poorly. But tough to not like Tatum at this price tag. He was doing great against Milwaukee throughout the series. And $1,600 difference between Giannis and Tatum. Both guys are solid options, but I'll take the guy at home if I could just pick one of them and take the savings. Other options at small forward would be Dillon Brooks at $5,800. Think he looks like a great play based on that price tag. Might be able to put in Tatum at power forward, so we can put in Dillon Brooks at 58 and then put in Tatum at 94. Like Brooks, he's at home. I'm going to get to at least one of these, couple of these Memphis guys if I'm not able to get up to Ja Morant here. Brooks had a great night last time out shooting before he fouled out. 5 of 6 from distance. You know, you always can't count on that from Brooks, but he is going to be aggressive. He does like to get a lot of usage and does take a good amount of shots when he is out there, and will play heavy defense, especially in this series when you have 4 lethal, maybe 3 lethal shooters out there with Poole, Thompson, Curry. At times, Wiggins can knock down shots, but he's not an elite shooter like those guys. They're going to need Dillon Brooks on one of those throughout the game, so he should be looking at heavy minutes today. Hopefully, he stays out of foul trouble. Over at center, I like going cheap here. There's no real, there's not really any expensive centers in this 2-game slate. So I'm going with the guys that I feel good about in the mid-range with Bobby Portis, $6,400. He's looked great starting in place of Chris Middleton, just getting those extra rebounds. You know, we've seen Lopez struggle a little bit with the shot and scoring with Bobby Portis starting alongside him, and there's just not a lot of minutes to go around for all those guys, and Portis has earned his 30-plus minutes. So I like taking the unders on Brook Lopez. But Bobby Portis, $6,400, the guy that crashes the glass, gives you double-double opportunities, shoots a good amount, double-digit shots you'd expect from him, and can hit the 3 at a reasonable clip as well. And then another guy right in this range that I like is Draymond for sure at 66. They're going to be doing a little bit of everything for the team. And now that Curry is starting alongside him, easier spots for Draymond to just flip the ball to Curry and get those easy assists again. Jaren Jackson finally had a good game. Stays out of foul trouble for most of the game. He still finished with 5 fouls after fouling out the previous 2 games. Always risky with the fouls. But had 14 rebounds, which was awesome. But it's something that he hasn't done in a while. I don't know if he's ever had that many rebounds throughout the regular season. But I'm going Brendan Clark, a guy that has really stepped up. Steven Adams' status is still up in the air, and I don't know if they will start Steven Adams anyways. They kind of moved away from him in that series, last series, and it worked out for them before he was dealing with the protocol issues. But Clark at this price tag is awesome. Even though he comes off the bench in place of Tillman, he still plays way more minutes than Tillman. Tillman is kind of out there just to start the first and third quarters, play his like 12 or 13 minutes, whereas Clark is playing heavy starter minutes. And in this one, against Draymond, he's much more of a guy that you like to have out there. Matches up well with Draymond in terms of size, and instead of like Steven Adams, it can move and Clark is aggressive with moving well without the ball, getting cuts, getting dunks, and last game he did hit his free throws, which is good to see. Overall, struggled from the line this year, but came up clutch when it counted the most. So that's what I got for DraftKings. Still leads with $47.50. Looking at like the utility players that we can look to that are cheap, that we can consider. Just running off some of the names at the bottom. You have Looney at 31, the guy that will get some minutes, but basically I'm looking at like maybe Wesley Matthews 35, maybe Otto Porter 37, Grant Williams, Derek White, Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen, Robert Williams 5K. We'll see if they decide to start Williams. You can feel a little bit more confident about his minutes. They were bringing him off the bench for Tyus the last couple of games, and they could do that again, just depending on what they decide to do. They said he could be limited to about 24 minutes, and he ended up playing like 14 last game. But that is about it. Don't mind getting to Wiggins in the mid-range, 56, decent price tag, and then like Marcus Smart, Draymond. So that's about it for the DraftKings side. Let's go ahead and touch on FanDuel. All right, for FanDuel, starting off with the point guard picks here, you have Ja Morant in 10K, Steph Curry 95. Both guys look really good. If you can want to get to both of them, I'm still going with Curry for 500 less on FanDuel at least, but definitely don't mind getting to Ja Morant here. And then other guy that you have to pay up for is Drew Holiday, 81. Looks a little bit better on FanDuel just based on the price tag. You can play him at shooting guard as well. 6K range, kind of looking at Marcus Smart there at 63. 4K range, don't mind getting to either Tyus Jones or Derek White, and that's basically it for the point guard picks. Over at shooting guard, Like Drew Holiday at 81. I really like Jaylen Brown at that price tag, 79. Tatum is like $2,400 more expensive than Brown on FanDuel, whereas it's a lot closer on DraftKings, only $1,500. So Brown looks solid. Bane looks okay at 73. I do like getting to Brooks for $2,100 less if I had to pick between one of those two. And then 6K range, Marcus Smart. Maybe Andrew Wiggins there. And then at the bottom, kind of looking at maybe Wesley Matthews or Gary Payton for GPPs. Small forward, big price tag on Giannis, 11.8, but still easy to get to him if you're not going to be looking to get to like Curry. If you wanted to build around that game instead. Tatum at 10.3, I do like him. Don't mind that price tag. But I would probably prefer Brown for $2,400 less, a guy that can get you within like 10 points of Tatum fantasy-wise, maybe a little bit more if he has a better game, or shooting-wise if he gets really hot, to where it would be worth saving down for Brown instead of going up for Tatum. If Tatum finishes with 55 and Brown finishes with like 43, could be a wash depending on who you pay up for with those savings. Other options, kind of mentioned here. Upload in Dillon Brooks, 52. I like the price tag. At shooting guard, I put in Klay Thompson, 65. Really nice price tag. He's been shooting the ball really well, hitting his threes, and going to be playing heavy minutes here. Played 39 last game. Got you peripheral stats as well. 5 stocks is kind of outlier number for Klay Thompson, but only scored 15 points as well, so maybe it would have balanced out a little bit anyways. But he's a guy that you can kind of count on to score at a good clip, and we'll get a lot of open looks now that Curry and Poole are both starting alongside him, and teams are just going to have to pick and choose on which guy they leave open out of the three. And then over at power forward, I like getting up to Giannis. He's up to 11.8 if you wanted to kind of use him as your pay up instead of going with a more balanced approach or mid-range approach. But I'm going with the savings here with same guys I had on the DraftKings side. Bobby Portis, 62. Love that price tag for Portis, a guy that will play probably over 30 minutes here. You can get to Jaren Jackson as well. Gives you upside with blocks and steals. Easier play on FanDuel, but he's also risky with the fouls. So I would go with a guy like Brandon Clark, who's not as prone to fouling. Like Jaren Jackson for 200 less has shown more ceiling the last couple of games, playing all those extra minutes. And then if Williams is starting, or Robert Williams, he's only $4,900. That would be a great value. And I think the same thing can be said for Tice if he's starting at 4K, or don't mind getting to a Pat Connaughton off the bench at 42. And the last guy you can mention here is, maybe Grayson or Kyle Anderson at 39. And that's about it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This should be a fun couple of games to watch. It should be a couple of close games as well. Best of luck today if you're playing this NBA slate. And stay tuned for the Prize Picks video out, which should be out within the next 15 or 20 minutes. And I'll see you all next time.